guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today we've got a good one for you guys. If you like the type of deck that can win in one big monster push, then you will love the Sparky deck that we're going to be sharing today. I'm not here alone. I'm being joined by Magenta from Eminence. He is a really great player. He's been rattling off grand challenges and using this deck with a ton of success in ladder and in GCs. Here's the deck, guys. It's so basic. Like every single card in this deck has a very clear and defined role. That's why it's a relatively low skill cap deck, but it's very easy to pick up and have immediate success with. And let's face it, even though Sparky, a lot of people rank her as the worst legendary card, it's never a good feeling to go see your opponent drop that Sparky in the back and you think, oh crap, how am I going to handle this, right? So we want you guys to be that player. This is a very free-to-play friendly deck. The only legendary is Sparky, and the NATO is the only epic card, so hopefully a lot of you guys can pick it up and again have immediate success with it, regardless of levels. And we have the Elixir Collector as well. The first thing that I ask myself when I see any deck with an Elixir Collector is, how can I protect it? In this deck, we have two great weapons to protect our Elixir Collector. We have the NATO, which we can use to pull that miner or whatever troop they try to attack with to activate our King Tower. And of course, the first line of defense is usually going to be the Mini P.E.K.K.A, which is just an absolute brilliant and very effective elixir pump protector. So guys, before we get into the replays, and I have a lot of really great replays against really great players to share with you guys, I want to go ahead and play one live match myself. You can see my starting hand here. I do have the Elixir Collector, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. And I have my Mini P.E.K.K.A as my 5th card, so I can protect my Elixir Collector, my pump as well. So this is kind of interesting. I'm going to go ahead and Mini P.E.K.K.A this, although I could have NATO'd and activated, but I decided to play it safe. He actually doesn't get that second swing in there, and he's going to have to respond to this Mini P.E.K.K.A, I think. He is. And he just uses Zap, so we'll see what he uses here. He's just going to go ahead and use a gang. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to drop my very first Sparky of the match. Now, there's a reason you want to drop Sparky in the back and not the Giant in most situations. It's because you can use the Giant right over here, guys, if they hit you in the opposite lane. And then what you can do is okay, here we go. And we're going to go ahead and just NATO this. And I'm going to send in the Mega Minion over here. He's going to zap that Sparky. Sparky's going to help out. Can we kill that mortar? Oh man, if we could have killed that mortar beforehand with the Giant, Sparky would have gotten a shot off on the Princess Tower instead of the mortar there. Instead, we're just going to go ahead and pump up again. Now that we know that he has the Hog Rider, we're going to pump up in the back this time. And here's the pump. We have our Mini P.E.K.K.A ready to protect in the left lane. He's probably going to come in with a Hog plus something. Okay, he fireballs instead. So we're just going to go ahead and Sparky again in the back here. It's going to be a little bit of a rinse and repeat type methodology here early on, and we'll see what he does here. He's probably going to defensive mortar, but we can't be too sure. He might hit me in the opposite lane with a Hog. Looks like he's not going to do that either. He used his Fireball this time. So he has Zap in hand, but I'm actually going to go in with the Minion Horde here. And hopefully we can take care of some of those bats as well. So can we take care of the bats? Nice zap on his part there. And again, we get no damage at all. So very good. We'll give him the well played. And we're going to have to play Mini P.E.K.K.A here in the right. And I'm going to arrow this just to do a little bit of extra damage to that mortar. Obviously, it's not going to kill it, but and he does get that lockdown on the right tower. So we're going to go ahead and Giant here. We're also going to activate the King Tower. And we're going to have to put down a Mega Minion there to help out. So he has Fireball in hand. He's playing it really well so far. And he decides to go with the mortar. Good mortar on his part. He really hasn't made any mistakes here that we can capitalize on. So things aren't looking great, but no reason to kind of panic. I'm actually going to play a Sparky here in front of the King Tower. And I'm going to go ahead and play a Minion Horde here. And I'm not going to support it because I need enough Elixir excuse me, to drop my Giant in front of that Sparky. Now, let's see. I'm going to drop a Mega Minion here. He might Fireball. That's okay, though, if he does. We're going to go ahead and NATO all these bats away. We're going to go ahead and get that Giant to the tower. We're going to support with the Mini P.E.K.K.A here, guys. He might go in. Let's see. He doesn't have enough Elixir to go in just yet. And we get the Mini P.E.K.K.A to the tower. That's it, baby. That's it. Boom. Come on. Mini P.E.K.K.A. Hello? Okay, arrows will get it done. All right, so, guys. Well played. He actually played really well there. That was a close match, but we did something that we're going to talk about a lot in today's video, and that is supporting with the mini P.E.K.K.A. Now, it was a risky move, but I did have my NATO as well to use on that hog I made a few mistakes in that match. But you know what, guys? Let's just hop into the pro gameplay here and take a little break from CWA and talk about the moves that he makes. This is the type of deck where you can make a lot of trophies in pushing, and let's show. We're going to show a lot of these replays because it's just fantastic stuff, but I want to go ahead and show this one. By the way, I think all of these guys are 20-game winners. I said there's a lot of good players, but I will show you guys their profiles too. Yep, this guy, Dark Lord. Let's watch this replay here, and you can see how effective this deck can be. This is going against the very popular Royal Hogs deck here, and you're going to see how he makes very quick work of this matchup just to kind of illustrate the sheer force and power of this deck for you guys to start things off here. So here it comes, split Royal Hogs at the bridge there. We're just going to go ahead and respond with split Minion Horde, and that will be a nice counter. He plays the Magic Archer in response, and here you guys can see we're just going to keep making these very small elixir trades until we can pump up. We pump up there, but we're going to respond to this Magic Archer with the mini P.E.K.K.A. The reason being is because the opponent is going to have to respond to the mini P.E.K.K.A. in turn, and the Magic Archer can actually lay down a deceptively high amount of damage if you let him latch onto your tower. So we didn't want that, so we used the mini P.E.K.K.A. and all things were pretty much equal there in elixir. So here we actually play the Giant first instead of the Sparky. I think this is probably going to be the only circumstance where you see him play the Giant in the back instead of the Sparky in the back. Of course, the other circumstance would be if you know your opponent has a rocket. You wouldn't be putting your Sparky behind the King Tower unless that rocket was out of cycle. But even if they do have rocket, this deck also has, of course, the pump where you can bait out the rocket with. So here we go, guys. It's a big push there in the right lane, and we're going to respond, or we're going to kind of support this push with the mini P.E.K.K.A. just like I did in the previous match. And you're going to see Magenta, Matrix is his mini account, by the way. You're going to see him do that time and time again. Throw that mini P.E.K.K.A. in the same lane as the push after the fact, and there it is. Boom. Makes it look easy. Took him like halfway through that match to pull off that 3 crown. Really well played there by Magenta. Let's go ahead and watch. This was the most difficult match that he had, the 12 win, and I think that it will really illustrate the importance of offensive tornadoes. He gets a ton of value from offensive tornadoes in this matchup, I think 3 or 4 times, that I really want you guys to focus on while you're watching this replay. In the background, I'm actually watching CRL, apropos of nothing, but have you guys watched CRL yet? Are you a fan of it? Of North America and EU have both started now. I'll link the YouTube channel. This is not like a paid promotion. I don't, care if you guys watch. I will be recapping it, though, here on the YouTube channel. But what do you think so far? I think the production is really nice. I think it's done well, and I think the talent and the decks and the gameplay are all spectacular. Me, personally, I think echoing a lot of the sentiment of the community, I'm not a fan of portrait mode, unfortunately. I like to chat with people as I watch, and you can't chat and watch in portrait mode at the same time. And then I like to watch on PC, and PC portrait mode doesn't really look that great either. So I'm not a fan of portrait mode, but I am a fan of the league so far. Anyway, guys, back to the match here. So I don't know why I just had that digression, but feel free to give me your thoughts in the description and the comments below. What do you think of CRL? Have you watched it yet? Do you care about it? What would make you care if you don't care? I'd love to hear from you guys, and any ideas that you guys have in terms of content that you'd like to see here on CWA regarding CRL, go ahead and let me know in the comments as well. So here we go. We pump up here, and he tries to punish us. Obviously, guys, you're going to have that mini P.E.K.K.A. ready for when you pump up, especially if you're going against beatdown. They are going to pressure you in the same or opposite lane. That time we had the mini P.E.K.K.A. ready, but we still took a lot of damage to our left tower. Doesn't matter, though. You're going to have situations where you do take a lot of damage, especially early on when you're playing this deck. Just like my live match, guys. He had Zap, he had a good mortar, kind of a good defensive situation, as you guys saw in that live match. But it took us a while, but eventually we were able to capitalize on one big monster push. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Well, it's actually going to be like 2 big monster pushes, but you guys will get the point. So here it comes again. It's going to be a Sparky, and that time we really didn't get any damage. Despite the Sparky and the mini P.E.K.K.A. and everything in that right lane, we didn't walk away with really much to show for it, guys. And now here we're going to take some more damage on really both of our towers. The Mega Minion on the right tower and the Giant doing a lot of damage to our left tower, taking it down to 743. Now here comes the offensive tornadoes, guys. Look at this setup here. The opponent's using Cannon Cart and a Night Witch, and you can see that Matrix has the tornado selected. It's really important that you're able to use the tornado effectively in these type of matchups, because you want to pull everything together for Sparky to truly capitalize on the value of that card. By the way, do not call her a trash can on wheels in my comments. I will ban you from the channel. Viva la Sparky! I kid, but still, be nice to Sparky. She's nice to you. So here we go, guys. We get a lot of damage, but not enough. The opponent is still in the lead here in terms of damage on tower. DOT. I just made that up, but sounds like a accurate acronym. Here we go, guys. It's going to be a NATO again. Is basically, it looks like the same exact push, does it not? I mean, everything except for the mini P.E.K.K.A. There's the mini P.E.K.K.A. Now it's the same exact push. And this time, last time we took the tower down to 900 and whatever damage. This time we're going to take it down to 0 and win the match. And that was the most difficult matchup that we had here. Cannon Cart, Night Witch, just a lot of troops there the opponent had that were kind of a hassle to deal with. But you can see how we were able to persevere, manufacture an elixir advantage, and then capitalize on it with offensive tornadoes. Really, really cool deck, huh, guys? I think you guys are really going to like this one. I want to watch the Graveyard matchup here, because Graveyard is not an easy matchup for this deck, but it's not an incredibly difficult one either. And you're gonna see how to handle a Graveyard matchup in this replay. Finally, Matrix is on the bottom of our screen. Man, I wish we could just choose. I wish the person who shared the replays was always on the bottom, right? I mean, it's kind of annoying to have to kind of change your perspective because you play from the bottom. So in my opinion, it sounds like I'm being a little nitpicky here, and maybe I am, but in my opinion, it's easier to learn when you're watching the player on the bottom, because it's just the point of view that is most natural. It's the point of view that you actually take. So here is an interesting, I'm going to pause really quickly here. Here's an interesting mini P.E.K.K.A. cycle in the back. Now this is a bad starting hand. The Elixir Pump, I want to say, was our 6th card in this kind of cycle. So you have to make tricky and kind of awkward plays sometimes. And that's kind of the tricky thing about any beatdown deck, any deck that has the Elixir Pump in it. Sometimes you have to make unorthodox plays. But it was a smart play playing the mini P.E.K.K.A. into the same lane here as the oncoming troops, albeit just a Mega Minion and an Ice Golem and a Musketeer. But if he played the mini P.E.K.K.A. opposite lane or something like that, or tried to cycle it in a different way, he would have given the opponent the opportunity to punish with a Graveyard push, utilizing the existing Mega Minion and Musketeer, and probably take our right tower. Instead, the opponent's going to choose to push opposite lane here, going all in with a Valkyrie and a Graveyard push. Now, Valkyrie in a Graveyard push is 9 elixir. That leaves no elixir left to use the poison right away. So we're able to respond with a minion horde, and check this out, we're able to activate the King Tower. Now, activating the King Tower against a Graveyard matchup is really, really valuable, right? I mean, it's obvious, because from here on out in the match, now that we have that activated King Tower, we can just focus on one thing every time that Graveyard push comes down. Do any of you know what that is? Anybody? Hands up in the back? No, the thing that we have to focus on, guys, seriously, is the troops coming down the lane. We don't have to worry about the Graveyard. We have the Princess Tower, and we have that activated King Tower to kill all those skeletons. From here on out, all Matrix has to do, all he has to focus on, really, is just loading the lane at the bridge with mini P.E.K.K.As and Mega Minions, taking care of the tanks, and then the towers will do all the heavy lifting against the Graveyard. So here comes a big offensive push here, but he doesn't really have much to show from it, and he gives them the well played. It was a good defense there by Mr. Ruby, but we do have the 1 or maybe 2 elixir advantage. Looks like 1.5 elixir advantage here. Let's see how we play things here. Another just begging for the Graveyard here play, and you're gonna see this time I'm not sure that pump was the best decision, but who am I to criticize him? I mean, he did have enough elixir for the poison there, so he's able, although we were able to kind of mitigate the damage, it takes it down to 13-14, and we're able to have that elixir advantage to go on a big Sparky push in the opposite lane. Well, you know the opponent's going to be ready for another graveyard push in the same lane, and here it comes, guys. But check this out. Just like we talked about, we're ignoring the graveyard here, guys. I'm just going to pause again for you guys to kind of see, just to illustrate this point, because it's very important. We're ignoring that graveyard. We're using the Mini P.E.K.K.A. and the Mega Minion right at the bridge. So 7 elixir devoted right at the bridge there by Matrix just to stop that graveyard push. Now in the opposite lane, I mean, good luck defending I mean, look at this. He has the Giant and the Sparky. He has the NATO ready. He's going to NATO everything together just like we talked about there. And look at that Sparky. Absolutely devastating, taking out the Musketeer and the Valkyrie. Again, we didn't really get a lot of damage to show for it, but it's noteworthy that with about 15 seconds left in this matchup, we not only have the elixir advantage, but we also still decided to pump up. It's very important that you keep using your elixir pump, ideally on the tower with the least amount of damage on it, right? Or the most amount of HP left in the right lane in this circumstance, and we're able to get a tremendous push going. We use Sparky, we use Giant, we use Sparky to defend against the graveyard, very unorthodox way of defending, but we're able to use her on the counter push as well. And this time we're able to finally get a little bit more damage, and we're reloading again with another Sparky in the back here. And the opponent this time, you can kind of feel the pressure. They can't really go opposite lane this time because we have so many great answers. We have the Mini P.E.K.K.A. kind of ready to go. Instead, we're going to go all in on this push, kind of reminiscent of my push to end the game on my live match at the beginning of this video. And here it is, man. 2 Sparkies? What? 2 Sparkies go down, and that's gonna be rip, man. That tower is done for. 2 Sparkies, 2 Giants, a couple Mega Minions, and a Mini P.E.K.K.A. Yeah, I think that'll get the job done. Talk about winning in one big final push there, guys. So, guys, I wish you nothing but success with this deck. It is really fun, it's really effective, and it's pretty easy to use, as I mentioned. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out Magenta's player stats and profile, thanks to statsroyale.com, a channel sponsor here on CWA Mobile Gaming, along with Bren Chong, my longtime YouTube partner. Check out his information as well. Guys, thanks for watching, and as always, take care, guys.